Alright guys, so it's been a little more than a week since the last update, including Creme Brulee as well as Linzer cookie. So it's about time for us to update the PvP tier list, because if you guys haven't noticed, there are some new comps that are coming out, especially involving Creme Brulee, that is kind of changing the meta a little bit here. Alright, of course, the teams are still going to be pretty consistent, but Creme Brulee attack speed comps are pretty darn strong, and there's a lot of, epic based teams that a lot of people are able to take advantage of right now. So I would have to go and update this PvP tier list so that you guys know exactly what you guys should be focusing on. All right, so just keep in mind that this is going to be based on my experience as well as my, opinion within the pure vanilla server, and some of the different servers may have some different comps, but, generally these cookies are going to be pretty darn similar. All right, so here we go, guys. Let's start out with the meta tier, because that's really the most important thing. And then I'll go down the list, and then of course update any of the other cookies that kind of need some switching. First of all, without a doubt, again, Crimson Coral is going to be one of the best single tank, we got. And then we have burnt cheese, we got fettuccine. Now we have Hollowberry up here as well, and then we have golden cheese, Stardust. We still have Black Pearl up here. We have Frost Queen still doing pretty well. We got Sherbet. We have Snow Sugar. We have our newly added Creme Brulee. We have Parfait, as well as Snapdragon and Icicle Yeti. Alright, so these are going to be the meta still. Alright, and I actually talked about how in the past that, Stardust as well as Black Pearl may kind of lose their placing inside of the meta. However, they actually got stronger with the inclusion of Creme Brulee. Alright, the reason why I say this is because with Creme Brulee comps, the focus is trying to get rid of the backlane as soon as possible with the AoE damage and the focus. And with Stardust, and especially with Stardust combined with Golden Cheese, the sign of the star debuff is actually really strong, and it focus targets someone like Creme Brulee and prevents Creme Brulee from actually getting those Accelerando stacks, which is actually the focus of his actual attacking, alright, his damage. So Stardust is actually really strong, especially if there's comps that are still focusing on fettuccine and stuff like that too. Stardust actually allows you to absolutely shred fettuccine quickly and then get rid of fettuccine out of the team, and then start focusing on the back lane as well. And the same thing goes with Black Pearl, focusing on the entire team back lane as well. And then with the Crystal Jam effect, actually so strong. And kind of that's the reason why Creme Brulee has brought up these two from the brink of death, I would say, inside of the meta, with the Frost comps like just going around everywhere. Now, these cookies are back. And then I'll have to say the tanks have gotten even stronger as well. Burnt Cheese with the debuff immunity, Fettuccine with taunt, as well as Hollowberry with the damage focus and the soaking. They have just gotten a lot better. And, if Crimson Coral is not an option and you want to have more tanks as well, these three tanks are going to be just so much better as well inside of the team than before. And then we still have the Frost comp again, Sherbet and Snow Sugar. I would say Snow Sugar is actually really good and annoying to verse, especially with the constant freezing and the slow stacks or the Frost stacks when you guys are using someone like Creme Brulee and other cookies like that. So these guys are still pretty up there, and I will have to say they're still meta. Creme Brulee absolutely broken right now too, with as long as you can keep him alive to that 1 minute mark or so, the entire team just gets shredded. And then we have Parfait with the debuff immunity, heal, and debuff resist and all of those stuff. And then we have our Snapdragon, who's actually going to be a lot better than before too now, because it's not only about frost comps, where Icicle Yeti was really good, but we still have Icicle Yeti and Snapdragon kind of up there with them being safeguard, and then providing healing and extra buffs as well. Alright, so this is going to be the current meta right now. Of course, again, there's going to be different cookies for different situations as well, but mainly the teams are going to be focused around these cookies. Alright, now going on to the SS tier. Alright, the SS tier is going to be, we got Pattaya, we got T-Knight here still, we got Sorbet, as well as Moonlight up here, we still have Sea Fairy, we have Shining Glitter, alright, we have Furl Jellyfish, and pure vanilla. Alright, so this is going to be a lot smaller than before, and I will have to say these are the cookies that are still kind of up there being used along with the meta cookies. Alright, Pattaya kind of up there with the double tank, triple tank comps, especially with the Frost comp still being out there. You have Pattaya's kind of using the Fire Breath, and then it's a guaranteed hit after the 1 minute mark because of the slows. and Pattaya is actually pretty darn tanky as well. All right, so Pattaya is still going to be in the SS tier. We have T-Knight. T-Knight is actually still really good against any of the Crimson Coral single tank comps, especially if they're using someone like Creme Brulee too, because you're able to just burst them down. All right, and then we got Sorbet. Sorbet is actually a lot stronger too, because we have a lot more of the double tank comps as well. So a lot of people are still trying to use Sorbet to shred those tanks as soon as possible, which is not a bad idea. And Sorbets are going to be still inside of the meta or inside of the arena for quite some teams. And then Moonlight as well as Seafair, they're being seen a lot less, but they're still being used here and there for either triple DPSs or any of the comps that may not have someone like Golden Cheese, Stardust, Frost Queen, or even like Black Pearl and stuff like that. So they're still pretty good. I mean, they're one of the better damage dealers for sure. And then we still have Shining Glitter kind of there with the crit resist and crit damage reduction, and then the shield, getting rid of those shields as well. And then we have Frill Jellyfish paired up with someone like T-Knight as well. And then we got Pure Vanilla, who's still able to do a good amount of burst heal and the HP shield as well. All right, and then we got the S tier. I would say for the S tier, we have Capsaicin, as well as Wildberry, Black Raisin, Captain Caviar. We got Cream Puff, Mango, Squid Ink, Blueberry Pie, Vampire, Peppermint, as well as BTS. And then of course Blueberry Pie was in the SS tier, but now in the S because Creme Brulee is just way too good. And then we'll just absolutely nuke someone like Blueberry Pie as well. So now it's not really being used. And now I'll say into the S tier as well, I will have to add someone like Queen of Man as well as Madeline. These two cookies are pretty darn strong now too, especially with the revival of the attack speed comps thanks to Creme Brulee. Light type attack as well as the attack speed focus is really strong. So I will have to bring them up to the S tier as well. And then I'm bringing down Rockstar to the S tier here too from the SS, because we're focusing less on the crit aspect of things and now more into the burst damage aspect of things with the attack speed and things like that. So I will have to say, Rockstar is going to be S tier compared to the other cookies up on top. All right, and then the rest of the cookies are going to be someone like A tier with the Space Donut all the way up to mozzarella. These cookies, they're good, they're decent, still can be used, but I would say you're not going to see a lot of these guys anymore inside of the arena, especially if once you guys get to a certain point where a lot of the cookies are going to be focused on building a stable team. And then we have someone like Rai all the way up to Prophet in the B tier. These guys are very average. They were good once, but now they have been shifted out because of the focus has been different, especially someone like all the crit cookies, the damage buff and stuff. And then the other cookies are just not as good. And then I will have to put Linzer in here as well. All right, so Linzer is going to be B tier in my opinion. I don't think she's terrible, but I think the focus and the usage of her right now, especially her being a event cookie, it's a little awkward, especially because it's a lot harder to get her. All right, we don't have a focused feature banner for her except for the events banner in Event Gacha, which is a lot harder to get her stuff. And then her damage is of course not going to be there. I mean, her skill is not really focused on the damage in my opinion inside of the arena, but the stacks, all right, the debuffs and debuffs that she's able to give is a little tricky. It's really good if you guys are able to fully utilize it and she's able to survive, but I would say she's more for the PvE aspect of things, and I think it's going to be safer to put her in the B tier. And then we got the C tier and then the D tier. All right, these cookies are the ones you probably should stay away from unless there's like a huge revival like Snow Sugar, where the match candy later on is going to allow them to just be really good. Maybe like Moon Rabbit from the previous league, we might see a revival. But that is pretty much the tier list now, guys, for this update here, all the way from meta all the way to D tier here. Again, the PvP tier list can be kind of broad in my opinion, especially because we're focusing on more on the the cookie in general, as well as more towards my server, which is going to be pure vanilla. And again, Hollow server, Dark Cacao server can be a little less competitive, as well as the teams may be slightly different, so just keep that in mind as well. But I think in general these cookies are going to be placed pretty well, but you guys can also leave it down in the comments below if you guys have anything that you guys want to add, change, or discuss about, and we can start those discussions, which I always like. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys found the video helpful, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.